How can meditation help in removing addictions? What is an addiction in the first place? The brain is one of the laziest equipments invented, created by nature. We have in a human brain 8,600 crore neurons. That's about 8.6 billion neurons. Now, we don't have sufficient energy to power this 8.6 billion neurons at the same time. We have only just enough energy to take care of about 3 or 4% of the brain's neurons at max. Let's say we have 10 units of energy in the body. As biomagnetic energy goes, 80% of that energy goes for maintaining the bodily functions. If you take a cell, there are 3 bodily functions that a cell performs: digestion, absorption of nutrition, elimination of waste. We have millions, billions, perhaps trillions of cells throughout the body. To survive, it consumes 80% of our bodily energy. Only 20% is sufficient or available for the brain. It's not sufficient, but that's all that the system permits the brain to consume. So basically, brain is a lazy equipment. For it to survive, the brain shuts off most part of the brain and uses only the minimum portion of the brain that is required by us at any point of time. Supposing we are doing mathematics, there's only one side of the brain that is used. Supposing we are looking at a Google map for direction from point A to point B, then another portion of our brain gets activated while the mathematical function pretty much shuts down. Let's say we get excited by a child who is born in our home. Another portion of the brain gets switched on while the GPS, the Google map side, is shut off and the mathematical brain is automatically shut off. So on and so forth. Therefore, you can understand that the brain selectively switches on some portions of the body, some portions of itself, and switches off most portions of itself. So therefore, to survive, the brain builds certain habits. It's convenient for the brain not to think and analyze every situation every time. Supposing, let us say, a joke is made and we like to laugh at a pun, let us say, in English or in any other language. Now the brain gets habituated for laughing at a language pun. It doesn't have to think. The moment a similar joke is made, it automatically triggers chemicals and then it makes you laugh. It controls the muscle movements. These are all pretty much a reflex action that happens in our brain. And therefore, the brain operates in a slow mode and a fast mode. Whenever a new habit or a new experience is encountered by the brain slows down. Several portions of the brain gets activated and it processes the information in various parts of the brain and comes to a conclusion. Once the conclusion is made, the next time a similar experience is encountered by the brain, it picks up the maps that it has already stored from the previous experience and simply follows that. So brain builds habits. However, sometimes these habits can lead to addictive behavior. Pretty much everything is addictive, whichever habits that we form in our brain, it does get addicted to that particular habit. However, certain addictive habits are harmful for us. For instance, let's take smoking or drinking. We may have started that particular habit in order to perhaps satisfy a social commitment or a compulsion by our friends and any other reason that you may have. But eventually this becomes an habit and you start to smoke or you start to drink for no reason at all. And the brain starts to build these habits. When we are happy, we like to get into that habit. When we are sad, we get into this habit. When we have no time, we get into this habit. When we have lots of time, we get into this habit. When we want to sleep, we need this habit. When we want to wake up, we need this habit. When we are stressed, we need this habit, and so on and so forth. It just keeps building this habits again and again, and it completely occupies the brain's empty capacity in such a way that every time there is an outlet that you require, you fall back on this particular harmful habit. And that is the addiction that we need to get rid of. The de-addiction begins by retraining the brain. How do we retrain the brain? We have to go to the subtler frequencies below the frequency at which the habit was originally formed. Usually that frequency is between 8 and 13 cycles per second, or called the alpha level of frequency. Through the simplified Kundalini yoga process given to us by Sri Vethathiri Maharishi, anyone can quickly go into the alpha level of frequency by meditating at the Duriya chakra. When you start meditating at the Agna chakra or the third eye meditation in between the eyebrows here, your brain begins to operate at the alpha level of frequency but can also slip back into the beta level of frequency. However, when you start meditating at the Duriya chakra, at this crown chakra, the brain begins to stay at the alpha level of frequency. When it stays at the alpha level of frequency, you now have the power to completely reprogram your brain with new, positive, harm-free habits. That is how meditation helps you to completely change your addictive behavior and get into new patterns of thinking, and perhaps even remain completely free of any addictive behavior. When I say this, I mean to say that during the meditation process, since your brain will be operating at the alpha level of frequency, you will get into the practice of remaining at the alpha level of frequency even while you are not meditating right through the day. When your brain is operating at the alpha level of frequency, the consciousness is heightened. Your brain is awake. Your brain is watching at a subtler levels of frequency. It is observing its own behavior. The mind gets the introspective power to observe itself and therefore choose between right and wrong and correct itself. The mind has to take a decision whether it wants to get rid of addictions or not. Kundalini yoga, Kundalini meditation helps you by increasing your willpower. That will help you to change your addiction. Be blessed by the divine.